My sister, Elara, died of cancer, yet our foster parents, who had always doted on her, didn't shed a single tear. Instead, they immediately took my brother on a trip abroad. When they returned, they gave me a beautiful, exquisite doll, instructing me to place it by my bedside every night. My foster mother gazed at my swollen red eyes, smiling gently. Lily, you truly are a grateful and obedient child. This doll is so incredibly beautiful. From now on, keep her by your side, as if your sister is always with you, okay? I agreed. After that, my body grew weaker and weaker, leaving me in a constant state of on my butt. Until one day, I woke up to find myself trapped inside the doll, unable to move. And my dead sister had become me. She laughed, meticulously cutting my hair strand by strand, severing my limbs. Finally, she casually tossed my mutilated body into a blazing fire pit. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day they gave me the doll. The cold, gloomy room, with its curtains drawn for half a month, made me shiver awake. After regaining consciousness, I was stunned for a long time, the searing pain seemingly still radiating from my scalp and limbs. Immediately, I sprang out of bed and rushed into the bathroom. Seeing my intact, unharmed reflection in the mirror, I burst into tears. I had been reborn. A moment later, the sound of a car echoed from the courtyard. I pulled back a corner of the window curtain, looking down at the people below, and a surge of hatred instantly welled up inside me. Upon entering the house, my foster parents' faces bore a hint of sadness, a stark contrast to the excitement I'd seen upstairs earlier. My foster mother affectionately put an arm around my shoulder. Lily, are you still sad? I know Elara's loss is a huge shock for you. But life must go on after all. Seeing me staring at our family photo, she smiled and said, "What a grateful child." My brother, Soren, carefully took out a large gift box. "Don't be so gloomy anymore. Mom and Dad bought you a gift," I said hoarsely. "Thank you." Nestled in the center of the gift box was a curly-haired doll adorned with 2 sapphire hair clips. Its face was exquisite, its outfit splendid. They had also bought a large bag of accompanying accessories and clothes. But those sparkling glass eyes had a strange, eerie quality the longer I looked at them. My foster mother gently stroked the doll's hair, her face filled with tender affection. "This doll is so incredibly beautiful. From now on, you can keep her by your side, as if your sister is always with you, okay? Let's call her darling from now on." As she spoke, she tried to place the doll in my arms. My pupils contracted, and I instinctively recoiled, a faint sweat breaking out on my palms. My foster parents looked hurt. "Lily, are you blaming us for not taking you along? You yourself promised Elara that you'd stay home to transcribe scriptures and pray for her for 49 days after the first 7 days of mourning. So we couldn't bear to interrupt your sincere devotion." I quickly waved my hand. "No, I don't blame you, Mom. This is the first time they've ever given me a gift." Soren's smile froze. "What's wrong?" "Lily doesn't like this gift. Mom and Dad went abroad and had this custom made just for you because they were afraid you'd be sad for too long. Elara said all girls love these kinds of things." I lowered my head, wiping away tears. looking at them with gratitude. No, I love it. She's as beautiful as my sister. I just miss her so much. The moment I took the doll, I was met again by those dark, gloomy eyes, as if they were glaring at me. The tenderness in their 3 faces was something I had never seen before. No, that's not right. That tenderness had just never been directed at me, because that love belonged only to Elara. Elara was the little princess admired by everyone. When people mentioned the foster family in Nanthan, the first thing they thought of wasn't their conglomerate or businesses, but that precious gem in their palm. Since her death, my foster parents seemed to genuinely treat me as their biological daughter, caring about my feelings and preferences. That's why, in my past life, I was moved like an idiot. I did whatever they told me, only wishing things could stay this way forever. In reality, I had ignored the fact that they had previously disliked me completely, often treating me as invisible in the house, sometimes even with outright hatred. Soren would curse and scorn me, calling me greedy and detestable, simply because Elara had given me some of her new jewelry. He hated my face most of all, often saying that even if I somewhat resembled Elara, I wasn't worth a single strand of his sister's hair. But did they dislike this face of mine truly, just because Elara and I looked alike? My adoption back then was also because Elara was seriously ill with bone cancer, to fulfill her wish of having a younger sister, and I was the one who caught her eye the most. My foster parents used the excuse of raising me, forbidding me from running around or eating much, forcing me to stay by Elara's side to keep her happy. Only Elara was kind to me, truly treating me as family. Gradually, I began to depend on Elara, remembering her kindness, agreeing to all her requests. Snapping out of my memories, I looked towards my foster mother. She patted my hand. "It's good that you like it. I've already ordered a small willow wood bed to place by your bedside, and it's already been brought up." They sighed with relief, smiling contentedly. "There are other gifts, too. Later, I'll help you redecorate your new room." The new room I had been living in for half a month. My heart sank abruptly. Then I coughed violently a few times, saying hoarsely, "Mom, I think I have a cold. Can I open the window to get some fresh air?" My foster mother's voice rose several pitches. "Are you sick?" She immediately pushed my hand away and hugged the doll back. I looked at her, confused, her eyes slightly evasive. "Of course you can. Lily, for the next few days, you should temporarily stay in your old room. Let Darling stay with me, in case she catches your virus. That wouldn't be good. Aunt Nye, bring a few people to open the windows and thoroughly clean and disinfect the room." My foster father said in a deep voice. Soren, who was about to go upstairs, was called. "Soren, later, please have a doctor. Examine your sister." "No need, Dad. It's just a slight cold. I'll be fine after taking medicine for 2 days. In my past life, every evening, I would place the doll on that willow wood bed. The next morning, it would mysteriously be in a different spot. At the time, I didn't pay attention, thinking my foster mother had checked on me at night because I slept very soundly and rarely woke up. After that, I became increasingly lifeless, my complexion growing paler and paler. I thought I was sick and wanted to ask my foster parents to take me to the hospital. But they only told me to rest well, then hired a caregiver, dealing with me indifferently. I lay in bed all day, unaware that my soul was slowly being stripped away, until my sleep grew longer and longer. One day, I woke up to find myself completely unable to move or speak. Suddenly, a pair of pale, veiny hands gripped me tightly. A sinister smile spread across a familiar face. She said, "It's finally done." Was she smiling at me? Who was in my body? And where was I trapped now? The moment I saw my foster parents, I wanted to scream in horror, to beg them to save me. I was suffocating, but their faces, as they looked at me, were indifferent. "It's useless now. Let's get rid of it soon before it brings bad luck." My foster mother personally handed her a pair of scissors. She took them, her eyes full of ferocity. Why did I have to endure the torment of illness? In so much pain, I couldn't sleep all night, while you were happy all day like an idiot. Do you know how much I craved a healthy body? She tore my hair out with her bare hands, then used the scissors to cut my limbs to pieces. The pain spread through my extremities and bones, but I still couldn't utter a word. "Elara, burn it. Once it's burned, it won't have any resentment left, and its soul will completely disappear." It was then that I realized the one in my body was Elara, the one who had always been kindest to me. In that moment, I fully awoke. The one who promised I would be her dearest sister was actually planning to trick me into becoming her sacrifice. After spending an entire night in my room finishing the design sketches, on the fourth day, I carried the thick, transcribed scripture book out. I bought red fabric and a good box to put it in. I went to a temple, instructing the two people accompanying me to bury it in front of Elara's tombstone. Taking advantage of this time, I retrieved the items I had ordered 2 days prior and discreetly hid them. Upon returning home, my foster mother came out to greet me, hugging the doll. She took my hand, saying gently, "Lily, you truly are Mom and Dad's darling. Come, let me show you the room." On the dark brown willow wood bed, specially made for the doll, was an entire set of expensive silk sheets. The bed wasn't small. An adult could comfortably lie on it. In the center was a dazzling crystal chandelier. The headboard also had 2 new bedside lamps covered by flower, bud-shaped shades. At the foot of the bed were 2 circular floor lamps pressed against the wall. If one ignored the carpet, wall paintings and decorations like dolls and various vases, just the lighting system abstractly resembled a sitting person. My bed and the doll's bed were in the middle, with its bed placed horizontally opposite the head of mine. In my past life, I was blinded by all this luxurious splendor and paid no attention to the unusual detail. Now, my eyes held a new wariness. "Lily, these lights are very soft. Don't worry about wasting electricity. You can leave them on all night when you sleep. Elara said that girls love this kind of cute, cozy room, and it even has ambient lighting. Mom doesn't quite understand all this. Do you think you need anything else?" "Thank you, Mom. This is wonderful. I don't need anything else." Inside the bedside cabinet were bottles of expensive, pale orange-yellow essential oil. She took one out and held it before me. "Knowing Lily hasn't been sleeping well lately, Mom specially bought this calming essential oil for you." My foster mother sniffed it a bit, then smiled. "It has a slight scent of osmanthus. Burn 1 bottle every night, and once you've used all of this, you'll sleep soundly for a long time. I suppressed the disgust in my heart, pretending to be utterly surprised and delighted. Mom, you're so thoughtful. My foster mother stroked the doll's curly hair, placed it on my bed, and carefully tucked it in. Let it start sleeping with you tonight, okay? Tomorrow, I'll bring new clothes and accessories to change it. I didn't understand. Mom, does this doll need to have its clothes changed every day? Or every once in a while? It won't be a bother to you. Her voice was indifferent, hiding a strange implication. Of course, it needs changing, and it needs to be washed every 2 days. You'll be playing with it every day, so it wouldn't be good if it got dirty. I sneered inwardly. She was implying I was dirty. After she left, I locked the room door, sat on the bed, and sighed, muttering in a voice not too loud, not too soft. But this doll really is detestable, incredibly unpleasant to look at. The very next second, out of the corner of my eye, I saw its black eyes subtly shift. I showed no reaction, only gave a faint smirk. I cursed softly, then flipped the doll face down and covered it with a pillow. I wasn't yet sure if Elara, trapped inside, could somehow communicate with our foster parents. Therefore, I needed to probe slowly. Next, I put on a mask and gloves, tiptoeing into the bathroom with my foster mother's small bottle of essential oil. I soaked the entire bottle in boiling water to dissolve its contents. Then, I flushed everything down the toilet, including the tiny pieces of charm paper at the bottom of the bottle. Done, I quickly replaced my own essential oil bottle to its original spot, dropping a few diluted drops of osmanthus essential oil. Throughout the process, my heart pounded as if it would leap from my chest, fearing any mistake that might reveal a clue. This essential oil bottle was very similar to the original. Without a close inspection, it would be difficult to detect. Money can buy anything. These fake items cost nearly 100,000 yuan. Thought. Luckily, Elara had given me a lot of money in the past because she wanted me to trust her. The bottle I bought contained a plant-based essential oil, truly effective for calming. The bottle my foster mother gave me was made from Elara's cremated ashes mixed with an unknown source of corpse oil, plus malicious, eerie charm fragments. It was a soul-reaping charm, designed to quickly induce a deep coma and separate the soul from the body. That night, I used an embroidery needle to prick the doll's head several times, then flipped it back to its original position before slowly getting into bed. Just like in my past life, before I slept, my foster mother indeed came to tuck me in, then turned on the bedside table lamps and floor lamps, casting a strange, dim yellow light. Afterward, she skillfully lit the essential oil bottle and placed it on the bedside cabinet. Watching the pale yellow smoke drift upwards, she smiled contentedly, gently telling me to sleep early. After she left, I didn't lie down immediately. Instead, I pulled out a few exercise books, pretended to do homework, then slumped onto the desk, feigning sleep all night. It wasn't until dawn that I quietly climbed back into bed and closed my eyes. I slept until about 11 a.m. when my foster mother came to wake me. With a normal expression, she carried the doll away, saying she would choose new clothes for it. My heart sank slightly. When I went downstairs, Soren looked at my still sleepy face and smiled, asking, "Lily, did you sleep well last night?" "Very well. I slept so deeply. But I still haven't had enough sleep. I awkwardly scratched my head. He and my foster father exchanged glances, their smiles deepening. I hugged the doll, now in new clothes, and also pretended to be very happy. My heart gradually calmed. It seemed Elara was temporarily, as I predicted, trapped inside the doll, unable to move or speak. That night, I repeated yesterday's operation, secretly swapping the soul-reaping essential oil bottle. This time, I didn't slump onto the desk. I genuinely lay in bed and slept comfortably. In the middle of the night, I suddenly felt a cold, gloomy aura emanating from the small willow wood bed beside me. The light from the lamps, always on in the room, suddenly dimmed several shades. I involuntarily shivered. Click, 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 clack. Ah! A faint sound echoed, like tiny doll shoes tapping on the wooden floor. Click, 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 click. Oddly, the footsteps sounded stiff, one step after another, seemingly approaching my bed. A moment later, a slightly cold draft blew past. My exposed arms and neck felt icy and tingly, as if someone's hair was brushing against them. A silent shadow loomed over me, carrying a cold, decaying breath. It slowly pressed closer, about to envelop me. Suddenly, I snapped my eyes wide open. In the dim light, a pair of empty pitch-black eyes, yet filled with endless gloom, stared directly into mine. I looked down. Its mouth had split into a grotesque smile. Two blood-red sharp fangs protruded from its mouth, emitting an eerie glow. That fang was aimed straight at my neck. If it bit me, my soul would surely suffer immense damage. It seemed slightly surprised, not expecting me to suddenly wake up. But immediately after, that surprise turned into an even more malevolent and greedy glint. It accelerated, lunging towards me. I instinctively tightened my grip on something hidden in my blanket. Then my heart lurched. I was dead. Because I suddenly realized my entire body was stiff, completely unable to move. A bone-chilling cold instantly shot from the soles of my feet to the top of my head, my eyes wide as its fangs came closer and closer to piercing my skin. At this critical moment, I desperately exerted all my strength, using the magic artifact in my hand to cut into my palm. Just a little more. The fang was almost touching my skin. I abruptly raised my blood-soaked left hand and grabbed the doll. Fresh blood from my palm landed precisely on its body. With a swishing, the doll let out a soundless, piercing shriek, its body thrashing violently. I bared my teeth and smiled, my bloodied hand gripping its subtly struggling body. Got you, my dear sister. The doll's glass eyes immediately showed clear terror. Immediately after, a prepared steel needle pierced the top of its head. The steel needle plunged deep, and it instantly became motionless. I quickly got out of bed, using a chair to press it firmly to the floor. After all, physical damage was only temporary. As long as it remained in this room, full of formations, it would surely revive. I dug out a thicker steel needle from the bottom of the wardrobe, then took out a pile of fake bone fragments from a cloth bag. I took a deep breath, then climbed onto the small willow wood bed that belonged to the doll. This bed was one of the key points of the formation. I used the steel needle to carefully wear away the extremely faint, black talismans carved in several places on the headboard and footboard, bit by bit. The moment the talismans were destroyed, I felt the surrounding negative energy weaken slightly. Only then did I dare to put on gloves and take out the small bone fragments hidden in a secret compartment under the willow wood bed slats. These, I feared, were Elara's real bones. I quickly replaced them with the pile of fake bones I had prepared earlier, putting them back in their original place. Next, I used a similar method to deal with the 2 floor lamps at the foot of the bed. I also imitated and redrew those black symbols deliberately made them incomplete. Unable to form a complete charm, I flipped the switch on and off several times, ensuring the lights still worked normally. Done? I stuffed everything into a black bag and hid it behind the curtains. After completing all these tasks, my back was drenched in cold sweat. My left palm stung like fire, and my right hand was numb with pain from overexertion, unable to straighten for half the day. The negative energy in this room was truly too heavy. If not for the specially crafted steel needle given by the temple master, I fundamentally couldn't have destroyed the crucial talisman nodes of the formation. I looked up at the enormous crystal chandelier on the ceiling, my eyes complex. Hidden there was Elara's most important skull, the core of the entire formation. Only that last thing remained. The reason I dared to do all these bold things right in the room was because I knew well that every time my foster mother finished burning that special essential oil, she would immediately leave, never lingering. That stuff had extremely heavy negative energy and severely depleted positive energy. No one dared to stay long in this room before it completely burned out. Otherwise, their family of 3 wouldn't wear those exorcism jades, supposedly costing millions, around their necks every day. They chose to target me, this adopted daughter, not just because I was an orphan with a birth chart particularly suited for soul transference, but more importantly, I was also a member of the foster family. Elara and I actually had an unbreakable blood relationship. My biological father was Elara's eldest uncle. Also, my foster father's biological older brother. He was a true business genius, unfortunately dying young before he was 40. My mother had all her assets seized by Elara's parents. They also used tactics to force my mother into a corner. Later, my mother had no choice but to secretly place me outside the foster family home after giving birth, hoping to leave me a path to survival. But because they didn't want me to share even a single penny of their assets, they sent me to an orphanage. It wasn't until Elara fell critically ill with incurable bone cancer that they paid an exorbitant price, inviting a wicked master from who knows where to acquire the malevolent soul-swapping and life-extending dark art. Only then did they cunningly plot, setting up a false trap to bring me home from the orphanage, making me grateful for their kindness, willingly jumping into this deadly snare. In this life, I could be reborn with my memories, thanks to my biological father's plea. My biological father, when alive, was the former CEO of Foster Group. In his short life, he had made the Foster family extremely prosperous, doing countless good deeds, accumulating immense merit. After his death, he voluntarily renounced reincarnation, promising to unconditionally serve the underworld for 100 years in exchange for one chance at rebirth for me. A person who defied fate, an unjustly deceased soul, a messenger of the underworld. In the very last moment before my soul was about to dissipate, he told me the whole truth. I put all the human bones into the bag, hid them behind the curtains, then took a shower before curling up in bed. My body gradually warmed. I set my alarm clock and quickly fell asleep. This was the first time since my rebirth that I had slept so peacefully. The next day, I applied a thin layer of waterproof foundation to my face, making my complexion appear a little paler. Today, I had to find a way to deal with the items under the bed, so I didn't want to risk my foster mother entering my room. This time, the doll looked like a true doll again, its eyes empty, its sharp fangs nowhere to be seen. I carried it out of the room. The three of them were eating breakfast. Mom, I woke up thirsty and couldn't fall back asleep. My foster mother casually took the doll, saying, "Sit down and eat breakfast. I'll go change Darling's new clothes." My foster father poured a glass of water and handed it to me. I smiled sweetly. "Thank you, Dad. Lily, your mother knows you love this doll, so she put makeup on it, wanting to make you a little happier." I nodded, smiling obediently. I know. Besides, what girl doesn't like pretty things?" After saying this, my heart jolted, as expected of an old fox. If I had looked at my foster mother's retreating back for just a few more seconds, he would have already started explaining. I lowered my head, slowly eating my breakfast, appearing to have little appetite. My foster mother came downstairs and saw me like this, not scolding me, but instead telling the housekeeper to make a few more dishes I liked, and comforting me that it was okay to eat a little more. Outwardly, I thanked her. Inwardly, I scoffed. Of course, it was okay. Eating more would just make me a better blood bag for her daughter. Eat more, sleep soundly, weaken the body so negative energy could infiltrate better, and the soul would become unstable faster. Back in my room, I struggled to look at the slingshot I had already ordered, hesitating whether to cancel the order. Although, in my past life, they rarely entered my room. Usually, only my foster mother came by in the morning. What if? Moreover, I couldn't guarantee I could accurately shoot and shatter the skull on the crystal chandelier. After all, the ceiling was a bit high. While thinking, I heard my foster father, Jiang He, leaving for work downstairs. The opportunity had arrived. I immediately grabbed a black trash bag and threw it out the window into a dense flower bush. That spot was a perfect blind corner. Next, I carried a small hammer hidden in my sleeve and quickly went downstairs. "Lily, what are you doing?" Soren suddenly appeared behind me. "What are you doing secretly? Are you sneaking around?" He looked at me suspiciously. Then his gaze fell on the flower bush, and his expression suddenly changed. "You touched Elara's rose bush?" he angrily questioned me. A hint of disgust flashed in his eyes, but he still reached out and pulled me up. "What's this black stuff?" I took the small trowel and continued mixing. "I'm digging up the soil around it and adding bone meal and other fertilizers. It not only prevents pests, but also helps Sister's favorite rose bush bloom more beautifully." His expression softened a few shades. "I'm sorry, Lily." "Lily?" I was just impatient for a moment. After all, Elara usually loved to sit on the balcony, enjoying the breeze and admiring these flower bushes the most. I nodded calmly and quickly refilled the soil. Luckily, he came back late. "Brother, why aren't you at the company? Why did you suddenly come home?" Dad forgot a document, and conveniently, the place I'm negotiating a partnership is a bit close to home. The laughter of children drifted to my ears. Soren couldn't help but complain. These kids are so annoying during the holidays, always running around all day. Yesterday, they even mischievously broke Aunt Ju's dog's glass. Through rocks? I unconsciously looked up, glancing at the security camera on the main gate of the courtyard, directly facing the main villa building. My eyes instantly lit up. Yes, this time I don't need to cancel that slingshot order. That afternoon, I frantically carried a few broken crystal beads downstairs. "Mom, a few beads on the crystal chandelier in my room are broken." My foster mother's face turned pale upon hearing this, and she immediately gripped my wrist tightly. I stifled my pain, not making a sound. "No, quick, take me up to see." She looked frantic, quickly taking out her phone, intending to call my foster father. I hastily interrupted. I hastily interrupted. "Mom, it's just a few small pendants at the bottom that are broken. The top part is fine." My foster mother observed it then. She sighed with relief, clutching her chest. "But Mom..." I've already sent photos to contact a repairman to see if it can be fixed. Even if the lights work now, what if the top part is affected? Hearing me say that, she tensed up again. "Quickly call him and tell him to come right away." Not long after, 2 repairmen in work uniforms arrived at the house. My foster mother repeatedly gave instructions, emphasizing caution and gentleness. As the repairmen were preparing to take down the crystal chandelier for inspection, my foster mother turned around and saw me still standing nearby. She immediately frowned. "Lily, go downstairs and make some tea. I'll watch them replace it. I'll pay them later." "Yes, Mom." Back in the living room, I immediately transferred 100,000 yuan to the 2 men who came to replace the light. They were not just repairmen, but professional masters I had contacted, invited by a grandmaster. Very quickly, one of the practitioners replied to my WeChat message. "Your foster mother is truly generous. She insisted on giving us 660,000 yuan in red envelopes, saying it was for good luck, to pray for everything to go smoothly." Next, another practitioner also sent a voice message, his voice very low. "Little girl, let me tell you something. Try not to let that evil doll sleep on that willow wood bed anymore. That bed not only has heavy negative energy, but more importantly, that willow wood was made from the blood of people who died unjustly. It was soaked for 49 days to be crafted, making its evil nature extremely potent." After listening to the voice message, my heart pounded incessantly, and my palms felt icy cold. I gripped the small box containing the real bones in my pants pocket. After seeing them off, I heard the happy laughter of children again. I secretly whispered an apology in my heart. These children would have to bear this unjust accusation for me. My foster mother sat on the sofa, looking at me disapprovingly, still carefully hugging the doll close. "It was perfectly fine, so why did the light break? Did you open all the floor-to-ceiling windows?" I lowered my head, choked up, feigning remorse. I'm sorry, Mom. I just felt the room was a bit damp and worried the doll's bed would get moldy, so I opened all the windows to air it out a bit. I only stood on the balcony for a moment. Who knew she'd scowl? Darling won't get moldy. Don't open it so wide anymore. Just leave a crack. Also, did you think about what if the light actually fell? Do you know how dangerous that is? It's dangerous for our darling, you mean? Yes, I won't open them so wide again. I bowed my head, softly admitting my mistake. She pulled out a tissue and gently wiped away the tears from the corners of my eye. It's all right. I didn't mean to blame you. I'm just too worried about your safety. That evening, I vaguely heard my foster parents and brother discussing this in the study. Mom, this is normal. Kids are mischievous. Not long ago, some kid even broke a dog's window. My foster father chimed in. Yes, it must just be an accident. Besides, you saw, it's fine inside. We'll just wait patiently. I quietly hugged the doll back to my room. Back in my room, I immediately felt something abnormal in my arms. It subtly moved its eyes, as if sensing something. Then, its gaze gradually turned to despair. Now, it definitely wouldn't be walking over to drain my blood tonight. I casually tossed the doll onto the floor. Now, it didn't even bother to act, just glared at me with those empty eyes. Look, just keep looking. Just a few more glances, and you won't be able to see anymore. The next morning, I proactively offered to bathe the doll. My foster mother, who was combing the doll's hair, paused for a moment, then smiled and agreed. In the bathroom, the doll lay in a baby bathtub. Seeing me enter, the faint spark of vitality that had just ignited in its eyes immediately vanished. Come here, Mom will bathe her. Remember, the water shouldn't go above her neck, and her hair must be washed with the shampoo I bought specially for her. As she bent down to rinse the soap off the doll, the red string with the jade pendant around her neck became visible with her movement. Mom, the jade on your neck is beautiful. She quickly rinsed the soap from her hands, tucking the red string inside. Do you like it? I'll give you a better one another day. No need. I'm just a little curious. Can you wear it while bathing? Will it damage the jade? My foster mother smirked. I knew it was a smile of ridicule and contempt. This idiot, water can nourish jade, so how could it be damaged? So she didn't take it off even when bathing. That night, unable to sleep, I picked up the doll from the floor, placed it in the basin used when changing essential oils, soaking it completely for several hours. Then dried it with a hairdryer. The doll's eyes also changed from resentment to fear. I pouted, pretending not to notice. How can I possibly steal that jade pendant that they now wear so close to them? Change the shower gel to an alkaline one? I shook my head. Impossible. First, I can't enter their rooms. The third-floor hallway where they live has 2 security cameras. More importantly, if they discover the jade is damaged, they might suspect me and would surely turn to that person abroad again. It's best to secretly swap it for something else so they don't notice. That would be safer. I gave the sketch design to the Grand Master, asking him to help invite someone to make an identical jade pendant that had no effect. The jade pendants they wore, day and night, were nourishing the soul in the doll, like a protective umbrella making it eternally unkillable. Therefore, I currently couldn't inflict fundamental harm on Elara. Those physical injuries would only make her hurt for a while. But as long as she had the jade, she would recover. I scratched my head impatiently. Oh, the item in the small wooden box still couldn't be used. I hadn't thought of a way yet. For now, I could only follow the trajectory of my previous life. In the following days, I ate less and less. My complexion and lips also grew paler, and I lost 2 pounds. My sleep time gradually lengthened, but I often had dark circles under my eyes and looked much less energetic. Occasionally, when talking with them, I would experience intermittent memory loss, and their whole family smiled even more brightly. They went from meticulously asking about me every day to dealing with me indifferently. That day, I weakly spoke. "Mom and Dad, can you take me to the hospital for a checkup? I just feel unwell and have no energy at all." They paid no attention to me. I was a little scared, my hand holding the cup trembling slightly. "Mom and Dad, please." Soren angrily threw down his chopsticks. Only then did my foster father speak. "Your body has always been healthy, hasn't it?" My foster mother took a sip of soup, slowly advising me. "That's right, Lily. You just need to rest for a while. I'll find a female nurse to take care of you." She seemed quite impatient, perhaps feeling that everything was already set. Whether I obeyed or not no longer mattered. But guarding me for a month without going out must have stifled her greatly. Previously, she loved going out shopping and beautifying with those rich wives. Because of my bad mood, I also soaked the doll in water more often. 2 days later, the nurse arrived, acting very superior. Awasa. "Oh, you must be Lily, right?" She crossed her arms, scrutinizing me from head to toe several times. "You are thin, indeed, but we have scientific methods for adjustment. From now on, your diet will temporarily be vegetarian only. The master and madam said you don't need to come downstairs anymore. She will bring your meals up after she's done. It was the same in my past life. Initially, she was somewhat perfunctory, but later, realizing my foster parents completely ignored me, she became utterly unruly. When I couldn't come downstairs, she would just chop up a few lettuce leaves and bring them up. If I didn't eat, she would pinch my arms and legs to vent her anger. This person was simply a bad individual, and she would become even worse later. She only let me drink water. Now, I suspect that in my past life, I fainted from hunger, utterly weak, which allowed Elara to take my place. I lowered my head, feigning resignation. "Then I'll trouble you, Auntie." My foster mother generously invited her own youngest aunt to be the nurse. Who knew she was so greedy? In my past life, she was fired for stealing all of Elara's and the doll's jewelry. Today, my foster parents were not home. She touched this and that, her eyes darting everywhere, but she didn't dare touch the doll on the sofa. My foster mother must have warned her. However, she was free to enter and exit my foster parents and Soren's rooms. I watched her quickly changing bed sheets and cleaning floors for them, a faint smile curving my lips. I had originally wanted to bring this person back to exact a little revenge on her, but now I had a much better idea. That evening, I used a key to enter Elara's room and locked all the jewelry she left on the table. The next day, When she brought my meal into my room, I placed my tablet on the table. Auntie, some water just spilled on the table. Please help me wipe it. She hastily grabbed a few tissues and walked over, annoyed. The tablet accidentally revealed a picture of a jade pendant. The price on it making her hands tremble. The greed and delight in her eyes were undeniable. She walked over, smiling. Lily, those jade pendants on the master and madam are so beautiful. Why don't you have anything on your neck? I feigned sadness, a bitter smile on my lips. Only family members are allowed to wear these. Mom, Dad, and my brother never take them off. But maybe you don't know. I'm just their adopted daughter. As I spoke, my eyes became vacant. I just want to find someone to make a fake one to wear secretly. That way, I'd feel like we're a family. Seeing this, she picked up the meal tray and pressed her finger hard against my forehead a few times. You fool, your mind isn't quick. They see you as a burden. They don't even bother to mention you. She took out her phone and snapped a few pictures. After she left, I deleted the edited photo. I messaged the junior master. Junior master, another job has come up. Why do you have to burn this incense every night, kid? And why do you insist on turning on so many lights? There's a doll now. So many. So strange. Auntie, you don't know the benefits of this calming incense. Once it's burned, even if there's thunder, lightning, and storms outside, you won't hear a thing. Sometimes I sleep so soundly I can't even wake up. It's great for sleep. Is it really that good? Really, Auntie? Mom had it custom made at an exorbitant price. She glanced around. Lily, how about you give me 2 sticks? I haven't been sleeping well lately. But don't tell the madam. She's a bit stingy and doesn't let me touch anything in your room. She pretended to ask, but had already taken out 2 new sticks from the cabinet. It won't hurt if you don't burn them for 2 nights, right? Okay then, consider it settled. She tucked the incense into her pocket and left. The doll looked at me with even greater fear. I chuckled and continued to throw it on the floor. The willow woodbed can nourish your soul, so I won't let you sleep at night. The jade pendant can protect you, so I'll swap them all out. Before long, I received a message from the junior master. Done. Your family's quite rich, aren't they? Even set their own price. Let me know when you get the real stuff. As expected, not long after, the nurse was overjoyed, and her attitude towards me improved significantly. Lily, let me ask you something. Are the cameras on the 3rd floor always on? I nodded. Of course they are. Mom and Dad just turned them on recently, saying it was to prevent theft. But the villa's security is so good, I don't really understand why. She immediately scowled. But sometimes the power goes out, doesn't it? So, where's the circuit breaker? I looked at her, puzzled. Why are you asking that, Auntie? Her face unchanged. She lied. Oh, rich families naturally have to pay attention to these things. I know how to fix electrical circuits, so if something happens, wouldn't I earn a little extra money? Okay then, Auntie, I'll tell you. But tomorrow, can you give me some more meat? No problem. In the middle of the night, the lights in the house suddenly went out. I softly crept out, watching the dark shadow enter my foster parents' and brother's rooms. What she didn't know was that I had also burned incense in her room. After the successful exchange, I finally got rid of them. A week passed, and my foster parents, as usual, didn't notice anything unusual. My illness, however, grew more severe. The nurse often said I sleep almost all day long. Honestly, I found it quite uncomfortable to act every day. I only ate one meal, lay in bed, watching my phone until I was sick of it. The incense was also almost gone. It was time to begin. That evening, my foster mother still brought the doll early and placed it in my room, instructing the nurse to burn the incense carefully. Not missing a single day, as these next few days were very important. As for me, I took out the small box. 2 tiny red needles inside shimmered with light. I seemed to hear a tragic cry emanating from the doll's body. Its eyes looked at me with clear sorrow and pleading, just like me in my past life. Cousin, cousin. So you saw it too? Why are you so cruel? The fire burns to the bone marrow, the soul. Do you know how much it hurts? The next day, my foster mother came over with a pair of scissors, their eyes red, disbelievingly looking at the smile on my lip. Mom, is Elara really back? I hugged her tightly, affectionately rubbing my cheek against hers. Having genuinely considered Elara my sister, I was extremely familiar with her small gestures. She burst into tears, sobbing. My daughter, you're finally back. They cut the doll's body to pieces and set it on fire. Darling, Mom and Dad will take you to your new home, okay? There's the sea view you like there. This place is too unlucky. Yes, Mom. I utterly detest this person who looks exactly like me. Why is she so healthy? This, of course, was not a success. The soul transference failed, and the backlash of the dark magic quickly manifested clearly on the 3 members of the foster family. My foster father's and foster mother's bodies gradually showed abnormalities. Their hair inexplicably fell out in large clumps, and minor ailments increased. Zoran began to lose control of himself, easily losing his temper, becoming irritable, unable to focus on work, having to rely on his foster father to clean up his messes. As for my foster father, he began to cultivate me. I looked at the scenery outside the window, bursting into laughter. In the years to come, I will certainly play the role of Elara perfectly, making them accustomed to my true self after a long time by my side, and then gradually taking complete control of foster group. I eagerly await the day they discover the truth. Nhảy ạ, bánh, easy, oh, pow, pow, pow,